Hey everybody, good morning. I'm in Warsaw, Poland, and I don't know, this could be kind of a long one, so I'll just warn you right off the bat. If you ever feel like you want to visit Poland, you're going to want to go ahead and listen to this video blog, I guess. If not, I don't know if it'll be this interesting for you. Right now I'm standing in front of the monument to the Warsaw Uprising. Just a little history on Warsaw and why I wanted to come here. This city is gorgeous. It's very modern, like Glasgow, because of the fact that Warsaw was entirely destroyed. I mean entirely destroyed, with the exception of a few buildings in Old Town. In World War II, the Germans, in punishment for what happened that the monument behind me is honoring, they just entirely leveled this city. So what that means is that I think from a Westerner standpoint, there are not a ton of things to see here, but the things that you can see are meaningful. So in other words, it's a lot of monuments, it's not a lot of authentic things because, again, the Germans destroyed it all. The Warsaw Uprising is sad. I mean, this is basically the folks who were left in in this ghetto felt like we're going to get killed here if we don't fight back. So they fought back in 1944 for a period of I think it lasted maybe 6 weeks. And the horrific thing was the Soviets apparently were just across the river in their tanks, and the folks in Warsaw thought that the Soviets would help them fight the Germans. They never did. So after they were all beaten and killed, and the city was leveled by the Germans, the Soviets then rolled in and took over. So I mean, this just brutal. There's things I want to see here. I'm not going to get to everything, and that's sort of what I want to get into as quickly as I can. So there was not great transportation options out of Lithuania. I ended up arriving here at about 11:45 last night, about an hour later than I should have. The result of that was the bus station was in the middle of nowhere and it was foggy in Warsaw. So I ended up walking around for about 3 hours because there was no maps, not a lot of English spoken. And by the time I got to my hostel at about 2 a.m. it was closed. And that can happen with hostels sometimes. You know, they don't run 24 hours. All the hotels in the downtown area were booked. Thankfully, one of the gentlemen at the desk found me a place, but it ended up being €100. So I went from a €10 hostel, which would have been a better experience than to a €100 hostel that I had, or €100 hotel that I had to take a cab to, and I didn't get to bed till almost 3:30. And then I've had my adventures today. But I'm on a train at 3 p.m. to get to Berlin. So whereas I believe I'm going to get to see the most of the monuments, I'm really not going to get to see the museum and some of the other things I'd want to do. So, in summary, my advice would be this. Warsaw is not laid out terribly well for the English-speaking traveler. Again, distinguishing between the traveler and the tourist. Somebody's going to show up with a backpack and look to walk around the city and really get a good understanding of what they're looking at. Not that easy. If you feel like you want to see Warsaw, and obviously if you're a World War II history fan, you do, I would say this. Give yourself at least a day and go ahead and buy the sightseeing tour, one of the hop-on, hop-off buses that speaks English, because many of the monuments don't have much English there. You're kind of guessing at what you're looking at. And the Polish, they don't speak a lot of English here. I mean, it's difficult. You have to hopefully find a young person. The older folks are absolutely not going to speak English. So if you find a teenager, somebody in their early 20s, they may speak English and they can be of some help. But I mean, I've seen about 2 monuments in about 2 hours of walking. So I mean, this is not the city to walk. I don't feel like the public transportation is that well set up. Most of it just kind of runs a few north and south routes, a few east and west. But there are tours that you can take, and I haven't taken any of them in any of these cities. It's not what I'm doing. But if you really wanted to see Warsaw, and if I were going to do it again, I think I would go ahead and buy one of the hop-on, hop-off tours and let them explain to me what I'm looking at and take my photos and be able to take my time like that. Otherwise, like I said, it's beautiful, kind of similar to Glasgow. It's very modern. There's beautiful things to see here. They seem to be doing a great convention business here, which is why the hotel rooms in downtown are all booked. But again, not a great city for the English traveler. If you're a history buff and want to see it, get on a bus tour. Anyway, that's it from Warsaw. I'm heading to Berlin for a couple of days before going and seeing my friends in, I think it's Steenfeld. And looking forward to it. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you from Berlin.